Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, welcome back to the TheNutCase Network. This is yet another installment of our Real Emotions series. Okay, so this is episode 15, you guys. Wow, I can't believe we have gotten to episode 15. This is amazing. Thank you guys, first of all, so much for your love and your support throughout all of these endeavors that I'm doing. Okay, this is new to me. This is something that my spirit guides have advised me to do, as always, like I tell you guys. And I just really appreciate all of the love and support and positive feedback that you guys give. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into episode 15. All right, so as you may have seen in the title, I'm not sure how it's going to be structured, but the overall theme of this message is fasting. Okay, do you have the power to fast? So this coincides with our episode last week, or last episode 111 was just on a timer, so I know it's confirmation. This coincides with episode 14 about going cold turkey. Now, I will be the first to admit that I talk about going cold turkey with a very positive outlook in the last episode, but it is very hard to go cold turkey, and sometimes you may waver. Okay, that is to be expected. At times you may waver, or if you're cutting something completely out of your life, or if you are trying to change something in your life, you're not just going to be able to. Now, I'm not saying that you can't. Some people may be able to do this, but in my experience, I have not been able to just cut something completely out of my life and never go back to it again. It's like stages. So if there's something that I want to cut out, or there's something that I want to go cold turkey on, I tend to kind of teeter-totter. Okay, that's something that I'm working on consciously. But this episode coincides with last week because you really have to think about the power that it takes to fast, or to remove something from your life, or to allow something to fall away. It takes a lot of willpower. It takes a lot of effort. And this message that I received, as far as the channeling, this is what it says. It says, do you have the power to fast? My kids just left out of here. You probably heard them. Do you have the power to fast? Experimental and environmental changes. I'm not sure what that means. I feel like that's on like a world scale of experimental and environmental changes, but also on an individual scale of experimental changes that you want to make, experimenting with different things, different techniques, and then upgrading or updating your environment to match those techniques. It says there's about to be a surplus of lack. Okay. Scarcity and deprivation. If you're getting that feeling that you should be allowing material things to fall away, which we did talk about in the last episode. If you're getting that feeling that you should allow material things to fall away, it's a sign that Mother Nature is coming to claim her property back. So what I get from this is that a lot of these messages that I've been getting have been centered around a shift. I feel that my spirit guides, guardian angels, archangels, my entire spirit team, my ancestors, God is trying to, like, basically the universe is just trying to prepare me for changes that are going to be coming to our environment, like changes that are coming to the human race. In every generation, I feel like there's a certain shift, but in some generations, I feel like that shift is greater and more volatile than in other generations. And with that, there are individuals like myself and other spiritual practitioners who are meant to kind of help guide the general public on the ways that they can adapt to and withstand the shift. So I'll read it again. Do you have the power to fast? Experimental and environmental changes. There's about to be a surplus of lack, scarcity, and deprivation. If you're getting that feeling that you should be allowing material things to fall away, it's a sign that Mother Nature is coming to claim her property back. So when we think about fasting, of course we think about religious things, at least I do. And a lot of times people fast anything. They'll fast spending money, or they'll fast eating out, or they will just fast as a whole and they will not eat. They'll only drink liquids or water. And that is to train the body. That's to train the body, but also to train the mind. Fasting is about having control over your own mind and your faculties, okay? Last episode, we talked about vices and things that we do in excess. But when we do things in excess and then they get taken away, it's like a shock. Just like if the body were to be dipped in ice water, it's a shock. All of a sudden, the heat in your body is being taken away. So mentally, you have to tell yourself that you're not cold. If you fast and you don't eat and you only drink liquids, mentally, you have to tell yourself you're not hungry. You have to believe that. That is a key to manifestation. People think, oh, it's just lighting some candles, or it's just, I don't know, saying a spell or doing some rituals. But there's so much more that comes with manifestation. There's so much more that comes with spiritual enlightenment. It's not just about saying it and doing it and then walking away. That's part of it. But you have to have that belief. That's something that I feel like I struggle with, is believing in myself, believing in my spirit team, believing in my fate. And what I'm going to be doing, what I've basically been doing is fasting a meal. So in the morning, I'll try to drink some tea or eat some fruit, like something very light, because I want to get my body acclimated to not having food on a regular basis. Because what I feel is going on with the part that says environmental and experimental changes is that I feel like Spirit wants for us who are awakened, those of us who are a part of this fight, of this spiritual warfare, who are fighting for the good and the prosperity of others. I feel like our spirit team wants us to not only be prepared for anything, but to have a strong level of, I don't want to say control so much. I feel like it's more than just control, mastery over our own faculties and our own mentality. So experimental changes, what does that mean? That means that you should be experimenting with different techniques, and you should be experimenting on different things in your life that you feel you need to do without or should be doing without. Like things that you feel like you could go without. If you like eating sweets and it's something that you've been doing forever and you feel like you can't go without sweets, you know they're not great for you, but at the same time, you just can't get out of the grip. I feel like those are the things that you should focus on trying to fast. And that will show you the level of power that you have. It's okay if you don't succeed right away. It's okay if you don't finish the fast perfectly. The point is that you made the attempt. If you make the attempt, then the next time you make the attempt, you'll get a little further. You'll go a little longer, okay? And if you relapse and fall back, you relapse and fall back. No big deal. Get over it. It's not that serious. But each time you get up and you keep trying. I just did a live about this on Instagram. I know this bad. Oh my God. Oh my God. It was a hangnail. It was hurting. But I just did a live about this on Instagram about never giving up. Just keep going. That's a part of this message as well. When you experiment with things you feel like you can't do without, but you feel like you should be able to do without, then it shows you your capabilities. Environmental changes, meaning if you're going to experiment on something that you want to remove from your life, if you're going to do a fast experiment and you want to remove sweets out of your life, since we're using that example, you will want to remove everything that's a temptation out of your environment. Because if you have things that are temptations in your environment, like when it comes to sweets, it's like, you know, maybe you have other family members in the house and they like sweets, and you get cookies or cupcakes or candy or things for those other people in your household. And you're like, no, I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to take part. But it's okay if they have it. No. I know you can't control everybody. A lot of you guys may have roommates or things like that. People who you live with, you know, where you can't really control what they do, what they buy. That's an even greater test of your willpower. But if you're the one in charge of purchasing groceries and stocking your home with sustenance, then you will do better to not even have accessibility or visibility to whatever it is that you're removing from your life. If you're trying to stop smoking, throw away your fucking ashtrays. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, people nowadays, they make an ashtray out of anything. But I'm just saying, like, throw away things that remind you of smoking. Get it out of your energy. Because then, if you throw it away, and then you have to go repurchase it, or you have to go buy it again, it's like a little bit of added salt into the wound, because you're like, damn, I just threw this out and now I'm about to go spend money on it. You're going to feel dumb. And it, after, you know, over time, collectively, if you feel dumb enough times, then it's going to prompt you to be more diligent and effective with your change. That's what I feel like experimental and environmental changes means on a personal level. Now, on a level of society, experimental changes and environmental changes, I feel like this is kind of cautionary as well, or just informative for you, just in terms of the whole, you know, okay, and, you know, everything that's going on with isolation. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it matters if I cover my mouth, but it's like, with all of that going on, that's an experiment. They're experimenting to see what people are going to allow and what people are going to disallow. They're experimenting to see how far they can go. They're experimenting to see how far they can push the boundary. Okay? They do this by making environmental changes. So, when you have to cover your face, with a mask, when you have to quarantine and stay indoors. You know, I feel like with the initial time that we had to quarantine, it was a lot of fear. It was fear-based, and people don't understand that the fear is what feeds the demon. Fear, anger, pain, turmoil, chaos, scarcity, disappointment, depression, anxiety, that feeds the demon. And when those environmental changes are implemented, it gave whatever this demon is that's controlling this world more power. So be prepared for more environmental changes. You know, when you see the airplanes, some of them have smoke trailing out, some of them don't. Pay attention. Not that you can do anything about it, because on an individual level, all you can do is make changes within yourself. And if enough people make changes within themselves on an individual level, it will escalate to a worldly level or a societal level as a whole collective. But I feel like that's what that means in terms of society when it comes to experimental and environmental changes. Pay close attention to that. And the reason why I feel like Spirit gave me those messages together is so that you can be aware and use the tools that are being used against you for your benefit. You know? There are times when I question what I'm doing and what I'm saying and whether or not I should say it. But then I also think, fuck them, whoever them is. Like, fuck you though. Because the change that I'm trying to help facilitate in others means more to me than any level of fear that someone could try to put in me. So harness that power that's being used against you for your benefit. And you can do that by beginning to fast, okay? Beginning to train your mind to not be affected by the lack. And it doesn't matter if you feel like you failed. It doesn't matter if you feel like you have to keep doing it. Practice makes perfect, bitch. Okay? So the more you practice, the closer to perfection you can become. Because I feel like none of us can be perfect because we're human. But the more you practice, the closer to perfection you get. Confirmation. If at first you don't succeed, what? Try again. So whatever it is that you guys are wanting to remove from your life, whether it be a toxic relationship, a toxic person, toxic habits, toxic eating habits, shopping habits, toxic sleeping habits, continue to practice. Continue to educate yourself. Be that educational sponge. Okay? Continue to gather tools and knowledge from whatever avenues so that you can have a plethora of information on reserve. And make sure that you're growing that willpower and you're building that willpower within yourself. Because if you can't build it within yourself, you can't do anything for anybody else. So, if you feel it, like I said, if you're getting a feeling that you should be allowing material things to fall away, let them. If you feel like you're tired of going to the club, stop. If you feel like you're tired of drinking, don't go buy no more liquor. If you feel like you're tired of smoking, don't smoke. See how long you can last. Because you might surprise yourself. Okay? I love you guys. As always, like, share, and subscribe. Is that a cat back there? I'm tripping. I thought that was a cat right there. Don't it look like a cat sitting right there? I'm tripping. I love you guys. Again, leave any comments and feedback. Leave me any topics that you want to touch on, that you want to talk about. Again, I appreciate all of you guys' love and support. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I love you guys. Mwah. Peace.